Meanwhile, in the pod cave.
Welcome back to another edition of the Podmen. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Podman Ron.
And we're missing Alex tonight. Or let me rephrase. Alex is not on the show. I don't know if we're going to miss him too much, right? Let's be honest.
Oh, man.
Well, we know what he wanted to talk about tonight. So for our musical fans, maybe you can tune into the next episode to hear Alex's review of In the Height.
Well, I will give mine. I saw it, so I'll give a preview.
Okay, all right. You give the maybe not quite as initiated or involved in musicals as
right. Exactly. I'll give the common man's perspective on it. The everyday average man's perspective on
it, and possibly below average.
Maybe below average. Who knows?
Absolutely.
I've not watched it yet, so I'm waiting to hear what you guys think about it. Before we launch into the news, I meant to mention it to you guys in the green room. There's a lot of talk nowadays about UFOs and the government opening up the books on UFOs and all this stuff, which probably lends to other conspiracy theories. Remember early on in the Podmen episodes where we had a conspiracy episode that somehow or another didn't record. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The moon landing.
The moon landing. Yep. So maybe we need to be thinking about that. Maybe we need to do our own investigation of UFOs and are they real and things like that, because we're seeing it's almost like reliving the 70s over again, all these UFO footage that we're seeing.
UFOs are real. The moon landing was not. So there you go.
Easy peasy.
Get it right.
Brad, what you're recommending is a spinoff, The Pod Files?
The Pod Files. There you go. That would be good.
Oh, yeah.
Another theme song, damn it. But yeah, so I was thinking about that. It's like, we need to revisit some of these conspiracy theories, including why I can't say it. Mandela effect. I mean, we used to just be all over. We used to be the Pod Files, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe again, once again.
The lone Podman.
Well, I think that's what this is pretty much, as far as we have a lone listener. But, maybe we'll grow thanks to the new platform that we're on, Podbean. Check us out on Podbean now. And also you can check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, as well as iTunes. So we're kind of getting ready to hit big time as we hit episode number 150. I mean, it's been 4 years, I think, right? Does that sound right?
It's been longer than that.
No, longer than that.
Oh,
5 years.
At least 5, because
we took a year off. We took a year off. Ironically, we took the year off the pandemic when we probably could have recorded. But then again, there was nothing to record. I mean, there was nothing going on.
Yeah, nothing exciting. But
I mean, we could have done the Pod Files then.
Yeah, why didn't we think of that? Oh well,
we should have.
Oh well. All right. Well, let's go grab some news. All right, in the news, it's been a pretty slow news week for us, actually. We've got a trailer for a new Nicolas Cage movie about missing pig, truffle pig, and a little bit of Green Lantern stuff going on, and Stargirl, and some actually pretty decent early reviews for Black Widow have come in. Have you guys read anything about that?
Yeah, actually I have. It's getting really good reviews, actually. The nerds are loving it. So they're saying it's really good.
All right.
We've got some music news, right? We've got a casting or two.
Yeah, tell us. What's the casting news that we have?
So the casting news, they've cast Jade. They're not calling her Jade in the trailer, but for Stargirl season 2, we're going to have Alan Scott's daughter, who in the comics is known as Jade, but it looks like she's wielding a power ring and a lantern. So where in the comics, Jade is just infused with the power of the Green Lantern because basically her father wearing the ring for such a long time. But yeah, so we've seen that. We've got Shade has been cast for Stargirl season 2. Both of them are people that you haven't heard of, but it's just cool that we're getting those 2 characters. Another casting, which I had no idea, and apparently it's already started filming. They're doing a Fletch reboot movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So for a long time, Jason Sudeikis was attached to it and was, I think, producing and stuff. And Jason Sudeikis is red hot with Ted Lasso. Yeah. But they've decided to cast John Hamm as Fletch, which
it's okay. I'm okay with that, but I would rather Sudeikis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd. A very odd sort of casting when you have Sudeikis all but begging to do the movie. So it's weird that it took that left turn. Or that they think John Hamm is a bigger star than Jason Sudeikis.
Well, I mean, he's not a better star, but I mean, he is more popular. I mean, I see why they cast it. I don't see why they cast John Hamm other than the marketability. Jason Statement's funny. He's a much better choice for Fletch, but John Hamm's got the sex appeal and all that stuff that, I think he's just more popular in that.
What do you find the sexiest about John Hamm, TMR?
I don't. I'm just saying that I know the ladies love John Hamm. Everybody loves John Hamm.
But I think the ladies love Jason Sudeikis too.
No? Not as much as John. No, I don't think you see I don't think so. But I mean, he would fit the role so much better. I mean, he would be so much more funnier. I mean, John Hamm's got a good sense of humor, but he's not like Jason Sudeikis. It would have been much better with Jason Sudeikis. But I think in terms of star power, I think John Hamm's got a bigger star power. But
we've also got let's see, I lost my scroll through. Sorry, going back through my news. Oh, the Parks and Rec album.
Oh, yeah.
Mouse Rat's coming out.
I think that's already out, or at least one song came out. Because I was flipping through Apple Music and I saw it, and I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this Andy's group?
Yeah. They're kind of timing it. So I think the full album will release sometime in August, but they're kind of like releasing a song here and there from the album. And if you pre-order, it automatically downloads. So far they've released The Pit.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
and 5,000 Candles in the Wind.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one. Oh, cool.
The full length songs. PMR, do you remember The Pit?
No, I remember the episode. I remember what The Pit is. I don't remember the song.
Yeah, I think it was the first time you saw Mouse Rat, but it's like, we're all in the pit, you're in the pit.
Let's listen to a little bit of that, shall we?
Pit. I wasn't in the pit. You were in the pit. We all were in the pit. The pit.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good stuff from Mouse Rat.
And it's Chris Pratt singing it. It's not like they brought in some yacht rock sort of band to tape it. It's Chris Pratt singing all the tracks, which is also pretty fantastic. So, but full length 4-minute version of 5,000 Candles in the Wind. How do you go wrong with that?
Well, you can't. You just can't. So Chris Pratt's kind of making a comeback. He's got this new, is it on Amazon or Netflix? I think Amazon, right? The Tomorrow War or whatever.
Yeah, Tomorrow War is on Amazon. Next, I think it's June 6th.
Yeah, he's still making his way out there. I love it.
Which we got a new trailer for it. In some sadder news, it was revealed earlier this week that Stan Lee's business manager, who Stan Lee and his daughter were suing for embezzlement and stealing money from Stan, the news broke that not only did he steal money from Stan Lee, he also stole vials of Stan Lee's blood.
What was he going to do with that?
Stanley.
Is he going to clone Stan Lee? If we could get the head of Walt Disney and the blood of Stan Lee flowing through it, I mean,
my God.
That's what we need.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's comic genius right there.
That would be great.
Entertainment
Creativity,
genius.
yeah.
And he was selling it in Las Vegas as collectibles for thousands of dollars. So you could buy a vial of Stan Lee's blood.
Wow.
There's some creep out there that'll do it.
Yeah. Why not?
You know? I mean, yeah.
The other stuff that we have new season of Teen Titans coming up. Let's see what this is all about here. So in this one, as you know, the trailer is playing here, and there's absolutely no audio happening. But we get Jason, we get maybe hints of. That's right. We get a Joker. We got Red Hood.
This is Gotham.
This is Gotham. Titans has kind of turned into the Batman show that we all wanted, I think, rather than Gotham.
Yeah, it's like when they finally said, okay, in season 2 you can have a Batman appear. It's like, oh, well, now Batman's taking over the whole thing.
Right.
It's
All of a
really
sudden,
tight.
Hawk and Dove are like, what the fuck? I thought we had a story.
Exactly. Because in this trailer, what you've seen is snippets of Hawk and Dove and Raven and everything, and then you see Jason Todd tease that he's going to get beaten near to death and become Red Hood, and so you see Dick, you see Jason, and you see Bruce Wayne again. Like, that's the focus of the Titan season 3 trailer. So yeah, they've basically co-opted the show.
Wow. Well, good for them, I think. That'll be good.
That last season was just so bad that, I mean, the first season was so good, and then the last season, especially that last episode, was so bad. It was just like I just lost interest in it, which is sad because it started out so strong. And just
I think the laughable piece is the way Donna Troy died.
Oh
like,
my God.
why the hell would that kill her?
Yeah, that was so ridiculous. I mean, it made no sense. I don't know who wrote that.
We've got another story from DC, Brad. This has kind of made the rounds. Like, this was lots of people were discussing this earlier in the week, but DC vetoed on the Harley Quinn cartoon show on HBO Max and DC Universe.
Right.
They had a scene where Batman performs oral sex on Catwoman, and it was nixed. It was removed from the.
All right, so yeah, I mean, which I love Harley Quinn. I think it's great, and I think it's funny, and it can get a little body there and everything. I don't know if I'm okay with that decision. I think I would have been
funny.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What's funny is that DC said Batman wouldn't do that. So I guess technically Batman's a selfish lover.
Right, but we've already seen what kind of lover Batman is in The Killing Joke, right?
That's true.
So again, it's a little, I don't know, a little all over the place. Jim Lee, we need you to talk to us and tell us exactly what your decisions are here. That's what I was going to say real quick. I meant to mention this a while back. Has anybody seen Batman Dying is Easy? It's like a half-hour fan-made film that you can find on YouTube, and it's pretty good. I've been watching a lot of Curb recently.
I have not seen it. What's the storyline, Brad?
I don't know. I forgot because I watched it about 2 months ago. And then I've subsequently watched Batman Dead End again, which is him versus Predator. This one is, again, it's fantastic special effects and everything. And it's this, dark Batman story that we all want. Great costume and, pretty decent acting. And they try to squeeze in as many, characters, villains as they can into it and everything. So it's just kind of a showcase of, hey, look what we put together a show. Like a bunch of random friends just put together a podcast and, people are supposed to think it's great or something like that.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
What a dream. What a world that would be.
It would be a great world. What else news?
You know what would?
Yeah.
One other thing, and I was going to add something to what you said. One other story, and it seems like a miss, like a missed opportunity. But since Lego has moved over to Universal for a lot of their licensing, and and I guess a part of that was also there was a film component to that. DC and Warner Brothers has kind of lost some of that synergy with them, and because of that, we are not going to be getting Lego Batman 2, which had already gone into like pre-production and everything. Do you know who was writing the script, PMR, for Lego Batman 2?
No, who was writing it?
Dan Harmon.
Oh, really?
From Community. Wow. And Rick and Morty. And the other person the other guy who's co-writing it with is the showrunner for the Loki series.
So what the hell happened again? Why are they doing this?
Because Universal has started partnering with Lego, and so if you notice, like on Cartoon Network, we used to get like a DC Lego movie or a DC Lego special. Now we're getting Jurassic Park Lego specials and stuff like that. Something happened with their partnerships. They still make DC toys, but like the film rights and stuff have shifted over to Lego to Universal. So,
Brian, did we lose you? Podman Ron, are you there?
There may be something to that audio thing after all.
Wow, how about that? Or the conspiracy theory thing.
Oh, man.
Brian, are you still on the line? Are you okay, Brian? Brian, are you okay? Are you okay, Brian? We're never going to hear the end of this one, Podman Ron.
I know.
All right, let me mark this time here. Hold on. I still hear him. I hear people screaming in the background. I think that's him. Is that you, Podman Ron?
I'm here. No, that ain't me. I don't know.
Okay, his audio still working. I think Brian just stopped working. I think his audio's fine.
No, where's my headphones?
I think he did this on purpose.
I think so too.
Folks in the green room, Brian was advocating for better sound
audio,
better audio and everything, and I argue with him saying, everything's fine with our audio.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with our audio.
Nothing's wrong with our audio.
Yeah.
And so I think Brian planned this.
Yeah, well,
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So next I'm going to, and the other thing we discussed in the green room was PMR's, knack for grabbing a bag of Doritos during the podcast or driving through.
So far he's not drank or ate anything. So he's
I'm drinking, but you can't hear me drink. But
or his knack for driving through Starbucks during the podcast. So I've decided I'm going to start doing some lawn work during the podcast.
Reprimanding the kids.
Maybe catch a quick shower during the podcast.
I told you to get back in the closet. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It shows the podmen are just everyday people. They're not big celebrities.
Maybe you can hand out a business card at Starbucks for sponsorship. Okay, sir. I'll pass this along to my manager.
We're just everyday people with a subpar podcast.
That's all it is. Well, since the podcast is slowly dying, let's transfer. Let's go over to the more happy part of our news, the brighter side of the in memoriam, shall we?
So you find it.
What is going on with the podcast here today? Well, let's get some good news here.
They're solid plastic, so don't settle for imitation.
But the senator, while insisting he was not intoxicated, could not explain his nudity.
What the hell is this?
It's the log opening.
Baby, if you've ever wondered,
man,
wondered what came of me.
He died. That's what became of
him.
him.
In Cincinnati, WKR.
All right, Cincinnati WKRP. Frank Bonner. Bonner or Boner? What is it? Do we know?
I say Bonner. Out of respect, I'd say Bonner.
You think it would be Bonner?
I think it would be Bonner. Even if it was Boner, I think he'd change it to Bonner.
I think so too. But Herb on WKRP in Cincinnati, which I don't know if we grew up on.
Les Nessman would have died first.
Is he still
Les
alive?
is only a year older.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow, really? Wow.
Yeah. Les is 80. Herb was 79.
Yeah, I love WKRP in Cincinnati. I always liked Herb. I like the whole cast.
Yeah, it was a great ensemble
on that cast. Yeah, it was really a great cast. So it's he's not the first one from that cast that has passed on, but
I guess the boss,
yeah,
right?
Art, yeah, Mr.
Not Art,
Mr. Carlson, Mr. Carlson.
I think I was getting real.
Is Lonnie Anderson still around?
I think so.
Yeah. Howard Hessman, Lonnie Anderson. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've just dropped out of sight. Howard Hessman, he has definitely dropped out of sight. You know, Tim Reed used to be on, Venus. He used to be on a lot of stuff there for a while. Back, in the 80s and somewhat in the 90s. But he's kind of, I guess, you get old, you got money, you ain't going to.
Yeah, you got that sweet WKRP money rolling in. Those residuals just keep giving.
But some of them got the new WKRP money, too.
Oh, that's
that
true.
went on for like 2 seasons. I mean, that wasn't just. Oh, you know what? Guess who else was on WKRP?
Who?
Tawny Clayton.
Tawny, was she on the new one?
She was on the new one.
Okay,
she was the Lonnie Anderson.
Gotcha. Okay. I'd like to watch those again. Maybe the old ones, maybe not the new ones, but
yeah, I'm sure you can find it on Tubi, Brad.
I guess so. Yeah, I'll get that out on Tubi. All right. Well, Frank Boner, you will be missed. Another big one that, from the geek standpoint, another big death occurred this week, and
I mean, what's this all about?
Don't say anything, just do it.
Just drop them, boy.
Yes, this is not from Superman, I don't think.
You ever had your balls cut off, you fucking ape?
Yeah, well.
Hey, Lord.
Yeah, so Ned Beatty, from our good friend from Otis from the Superman movies, passed away, and we remember him there as we remember him squealing like a pig, just like in Deliverance.
But you know what? I thought Ned Beatty had died several years ago. So, maybe that's the Mandalorian effect.
Probably. I think you're confusing him with the dad on Teen Wolf.
James Hampton?
Okay, this is a family show, Brad.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right, Podman Ron. We're trying to clean up our act.
We're trying to clean up our act and not, come on, man.
You're absolutely right about that. Just admiring his performance from Deliverance.
God.
You could also be mixing him up with Dom DeLuise, maybe. I'm not sure.
That's true.
Yeah, that could be it, too. It's one of them. I'm all mixed up. Or it could be the Mandela effect.
It could be the Mandela or the Mandalorian or the Mandela effect. I mean, they're fucking with us.
The name itself could be the effect.
That's true. Yeah, maybe it is the Mandalorian effect.
It could be.
Well, speaking of Mandalorians, I know we want to get into the TV section. Let's go over to movies real quick. All right. I know, Podman Ron, you were going to give us a mini sneak preview of In the Heights on HBO Max. What do you have to say about In the Heights?
I loved it. I loved the movie.
What? You love a good musical.
Did. Here's the emotional me again. Is this movie was, I guess it's a palate cleanser of all the action and superhero and the same old stuff that I constantly watch. And it was nice just to see just kind of a fun, musical movie that there was really a couple of touching scenes in it. And this cast, I'm telling you, the cast was fantastic. You will see these guys again, all 4 of the main cast, top cast.
Well, some of them we've seen already, right? And we will see again in She-Hulk, perhaps, right?
Who?
The chick from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Stephanie Beatrice or something like that.
Beatrice, yeah.
Is she in She-Hulk? Oh.
I thought she was, but maybe she was rumored to be She-Hulk. But
she was rumored, but she's not.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm sorry.
And she had a small part in this. I mean, it wasn't like one of the main leads. But the 4 main leads were really
was in
good.
Hamilton. He played Alexander Hamilton's son and one of the other characters. Dude
was very charismatic. He was great. He was fantastic. And really good movie. I strongly recommend it. I know it didn't do so well at the box office. I don't know if it had anything to do with the opening of the same time at the HBO. Most people, maybe it's just not a movie they'd want to go see on the big screen, but worth watching just to enjoy good music and a good story. So,
all right,
you want a good palate cleansing? That would be a good movie to watch.
Very good. Well, I look forward to Absolute Alex's to see if it's the very best musical adaptation ever put on film.
It probably will be for him because it's like his favorite one on Broadway. So
Singing in the Rain was singing in the shit.
Yeah, it is nothing like it.
That's what we're gonna get. We'll just be prepared.
All right, well, great. I'm now I actually want to see it a little bit thanks to Podman Ron's review, and I'm sure after Alex, we'll have to be forced to watch it over and over and over again. Speaking of being forced to watch something, did you guys do your homework from the spinning wheel, the streaming wheel?
I did my homework.
Podman Ron?
I did.
All right.
I did.
So we were to watch King Arthur. Something of the Sword, Legend of the Sword, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Legend of the Sword.
Directed by Guy Ritchie. Brian, what did you think of this? The upteenth version of King Arthur put on film.
Well, I mean, I guess my issue with it is if you were going to make a King Arthur movie that completely ignored King Arthur, like. Why didn't you just do like Camelot 3000?
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
It's Warner Brothers. It isn't like they don't have it in their it's a DC comic. It's a Warner Brothers film. We've got a King Arthur film where they don't recognize any of the Knights of the Round Table until the very end of the movie, but you don't have Guinevere, you don't have Lancelot. You don't even really have much Merlin, really. We have mention of him. Yeah. You have mention of Merlin, right? And then this mage, who we don't even get a name. They completely change Arthur's origin. There's no Sir Ector, there's no Kay, there's no him being a squire. There's none of that. He grew up in a brothel. And it's like, what the, and you've got all the stuff with Excalibur where it's, a combination of Mjolnir and a lightsaber. I was never in the books. It was it was like they went so far out on this limb to basically say, this isn't the King Arthur you knew. Right. And it was like, yeah, but this is just shit. Like, it shouldn't even be called King Arthur at this point. So, here's the thing. It was, for an action film, it was entertaining, right? For action scenes, it was entertaining. But there was no reason this should have been called King Arthur. It could have been called Robin Hood, or it could have been called, whatever. Right. Alok. It could have been called Alok for that matter, right? So that was my issue. I'm like, it's Warner Brothers. Oh, okay, Warner Brothers. And then 5 minutes into this film, I'm like, why the hell am I not just watching a Camelot 3000 film? Like, if you want to distance yourself from King Arthur, but still kind of cling on to the tropes of King Arthur, that's perfect. And you already own it. So
So a good action movie, or a decent action movie, but not a good King Arthur movie.
It would have been better if they just said this was just an action movie set, in ancient or in England, 12th century England,
right?
And just left it at that.
Just leave it at that. Podman Ron.
And I totally agree. Everything he said. It was a pretty good action movie. Even that, it got a little bit, I don't know, over the top, kind of boring. But I think I'm just changing in taste.
You may be getting old, Podman Ron.
I think I am. I just it just wasn't as what I thought it was going to be at all. So it wasn't as entertaining as I thought it was. I was kind of looking forward to it because, had my guy from Sons of Anarchy, but it just kind of went black.
He was good.
He was all right. Yeah.
He convinced me that he could be a leading actor from this film. Yeah. But it was very similar to the Clash of the Titans film we got 10 years ago.
Right.
It's like, just...
why bother?
It didn't even happen. I will say this. Like, I've read in the past 2 years probably, I read The Once and Future King, right? And what's wild is the King Arthur film that most closely follows the book is what's the Disney film?
Oh, the Sword in the Stone?
Sword and Stone, yeah.
Because when Arthur was a child, Merlin would visit Sir Ector's, castle, and Arthur would go on these adventures with Merlin.
Well, I said at 7:02 she was throwing up in the water.
Podman Ron, as you're taking the garbage out, if you could mute us, maybe. Thank you. Go ahead, Brian.
So Arthur would go on these adventures with Merlin, where Merlin would transfigure him into a fish or an army
or a bird,
that sort of thing, or a bird. And he was teaching Arthur these lessons because he knew that Arthur was going to end up being the king, because Merlin lived backwards, like Merlin got younger, and so Arthur and everybody else grew up and he grew down. So He already knew what was going to happen. But yeah. Which is interesting to me because, well, if that's the closest adaptation to the beginning of the King Arthur story and Camelot story, it would almost be cool if they had done a sequel.
Yeah.
It kind of showed the next phase of it. But yeah, I found that interesting, and I had no idea that. I always thought that was just like Disney buying
just being Disney.
But it wasn't. That was actually the way the T.H. White wrote the book. So,
and let us not forget. Was it Excalibur? Yeah, not Camelot. Camelot was the musical, which I'm sure Alex loves. I loved it too. But Excalibur was the British with young Jean-Luc Picard.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, and
Helen Mirren.
What's his name? Liam Neeson, I believe, was
Liam
in
Neeson.
It as well. Yeah.
Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah, there you go. Which still holds up. I saw it a couple of years ago. It still holds up.
Yeah.
I will say that I agree with what we said about King Arthur. I liked it better than I thought it was because I kind of went into it a little bit blind. The only thing I really knew was that it was Guy Ritchie. But I thought it was going to be more of a, this is the real story of King Arthur. Kind of like this is the real story of Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. And it would be, no fantasy or whatever, just kind of stripped down, medieval type thing. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised when it had the fantasy elements in it and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this isn't taking itself very seriously. And to your point that this could have been called anything else, I did think that it was kind of interesting the way they put the little twist on the Sword of the Stone, where his father threw the sword up and it went in his back and that's became the sword. And so I'm like, okay, I admired that. I thought that was kind of a cool thing. Had nothing to do with everything you knew about King Arthur beforehand, but I'm like, okay, reinvent it a little bit. That's fine.
Yeah. that was the coolest part. But then the stuff that they kind of tacked on, right?
Right.
Uther was the bad guy. Uther like raped Lot's wife, and that's where Morgause came from, right?
Right.
And then you've got, but he was the bad guy, and in this, they made him the good guy, and he didn't have a brother. What was that guy's? What was Jude Law's character's name in the film?
Mordred.
No. Mordred. That's another thing they changed. Mordred was Arthur's son, and Mordred was attacking the castle when Uther was the king.
Okay, so that was it. Yeah.
It was like, why the hell would you even use the name Mordred at that point? That was just weird.
Yeah.
But the Jude Law's character, it starts with a V. But anyway, they pulled that from another like Anglo-Saxon like text and stuff.
Gotcha.
And they kind of like hobbled it together. But there was a ruler of England that either went by that name or that was his title. And they're not sure of which, but they've heard reference of that. But it has nothing to do with Arthur or Camelot or anything like that.
Gotcha.
They just kind of fused them together because they needed a new bad guy.
They needed a bad guy. Which, the other thing that I liked a lot was Jude Law's, Deathbringer character or whatever when he kind of got, it looked like a Frank Frazetta painting. The character design of that looked pretty cool. But other than that, I will say this, that I realized it when watching the movie. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, now that you think about it, Guy Ritchie really is like Zack Snyder. He loves his kind of cinematic shots. He can frame a picture pretty and stuff like that. Loves a good slow-mo, and every once in a while does the speed up of the camera, trick and stuff like that. I'm like, and he kind of does the same thing over and over again. Guy Ritchie does, just like Zack Snyder does the same thing over and so you either like it and go with it, or you're like, this guy's got to do something different, right?
Right. Well, and even when I think the most eye-rolly part of the whole thing was when he did the mounted camera running scene. Where everybody was trying to like run.
Oh yeah.
Because the knights were at the breaking into the brothel, and they're all running and that mounted camera thing on them. Yeah. I hate that shot. It is, but he loves it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was an okay Guy Ritchie movie, I guess. So it's fine. I will. Again, it exceeded my expectations because I thought I was going to go in and get something different. So I was happy to see some of the elements of it. That being said, I watched it once and my life continues, so I'll give it a 2. No need to watch it if you haven't, but if you feel like you need to watch something and you want to watch a medieval type movie, go ahead and watch this one. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'd be better off watching Excalibur. Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I looked it up. His name was Vortigern. But, yeah, there was apparently either a ruler or a ruler whose title was Vortigern in, like, Anglo-Saxon England, in the 800s or whatever.
Gotcha.
And I guess that's where they kind of hobbled it together. But, yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's probably a 2 solely based on Charlie Hunnam's, like, kind of charisma and what he did through the film. Like, he did his damnedest, and he was cool in the film, like how he portrayed the character, or he was believable as a leading man,
right?
Which is kind of interesting because now he's not getting leading man roles anymore.
He ain't done shit recently. Yeah, this probably was his last movie.
Yeah, I actually think was this his last movie because I haven't seen him in anything.
We've not heard from him.
That's that theory.
So what now?
It's his last film that he was the star of.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, and his star was on the rise because I really didn't, everybody knows that I didn't watch Sons of Anarchy until just recently in the past 6-7 months. And I remember back in the, when that was on in the early 2010s, everybody talking about this guy. They were always wanting him to be Green Arrow and all that. He was always being rumored to be cast as Green Arrow or somebody.
And he got put in Pacific Rim.
And then he was in Pacific Rim, and it was like, who is this guy? Why is he so popular? And it was because of Sons of Anarchy. Well, then that show ended, and I think everybody thought he was going to have a huge role, be a big leading man, and it just never panned out for him. It don't seem like.
Well, he did Pacific Rim, and it did okay, but he didn't play Jax.
Right.
This movie, it's basically like he's playing Jax playing King Arthur.
And you know what? In all honesty, he probably wouldn't have been a bad Green Arrow. I mean, I think he could make his way into one of these superhero movies.
He could have been a good Green Guy Gardner. Got a little cocky attitude. I think Brian and I gave it a 2. Podman Ron, what do you say?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd give it a 2. It didn't really keep my interest much at all, but that's just
again, that's my old age.
Well, I'm not also a medieval person. Like I don't get into sword and sorcery stuff too much. That kind of thing.
Could you imagine, like, what could have been if somebody at Warner Brothers had said, "Hey, why don't we just make this Camelot 3000?"
I honestly do not know why there hasn't been a Camelot 3000 movie made. I mean,
even if you cast the same people, even if you cast the exact same people in this film,
that would be kind of interesting. Yeah,
that book has been out for 35 years.
That would explain why Merlin was a woman instead of a man. I mean, that's all he had to do. That was Merlin. Just like they did with
Loki.
Who was it they gender swapped in Camelot 3000?
One of the knights,
Was it Lancelot?
No, it was one of the knights. Tristan.
It was Tristan, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it
Tristan,
Tristan,
I think.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, did you guys pick that up at the very end of the film? That Wet Stick and one of the other ones, those were actually Tristan and Percival.
Yeah. Like you said, there was no mention until the very end, like you said, when the round table. They were just getting going. 2 hours into it, they were just starting. Again, Guy Ritchie, I don't know if you heard me, Podman Ron, I compared Guy Ritchie to Zack Snyder. You either kind of like him and he does the same shtick over and over again, or you can't stand him. Anyway, all right. So let's. Where are we going next? Let's spin the wheel. See who watches what. Let's find out. Oh, Jesus. It's me. I won that streaming wheel. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't picked a new movie for HBO Max to replace King Arthur, but just taking a quick look around. Do you have a suggestion, Brian?
I think I might. I'll let you guys narrow it down. We've got An American Pickle.
I've seen most of that.
Best in Show.
Yep.
Oh, we've seen that.
Darkest Hour.
Who's in Darkest Hour? That sounds familiar.
It's about Churchill.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Gary Oldman.
I have not seen that.
This is Spinal Tap.
Oh, that's a
Have we all
classic.
seen that?
Yep.
Is this for the wheel or is this for retro?
No, this is for the wheel to replace King Arthur.
Yeah, I'm just giving some ideas out there. And Life of Pi.
I've seen that. Well, Finest Hour would be fine for me, or Darkest Hour. Finest Hour was Chris Pine, I think, right? The one that I picked out was Bangkok Dangerous with Nick Cage. Has anyone seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
I'm not.
All right, what do you want to do? We want to flip a coin here?
Nick Cage should always win.
All right, we'll replace
Nick Cage trumps anything. I mean, come on.
All right, well let's spin the wheel here and see what I'm going to be forced to watch. And it landed on King Arthur, only because I haven't changed the thing here, so it looks like it's going to be Bangkok Dangerous for me.
Oh wow, you lucked up, man.
Dangerous. All right.
I may watch that also. That just sounds good.
I would invite you to join me to watch it. That would be fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, shit. That's awesome.
All right. Well, hey, moving from Bangkok to Asgard to Alabama to the DVR, wherever we are here. Let's go to TV and talk to Loki. All right, what are the Podmen watching? The Podmen and everybody else are watching Loki. Second episode. Brian, does the second episode still hold up as strong as first episode? Is this the series we've been waiting for?
Not really.
Oh.
For me, I understand why they need this episode because it's only 6 episodes. The whole series is 6 episodes. So they had to cover a lot of freaking ground very quickly in this episode because you had to move from Loki, buying in, helping out, so that you could get to the end of the episode where you're questioning whether he turned on him or not, right? So they had to cover a ton of ground in this episode, and I understand that. But at the same time, this was nowhere near as entertaining as the first episode.
Even though we got the female Loki that you had predicted.
Even though we got the female Loki that we predicted, she showed up at the very end. And honestly, it's like, why really, she's Enchantress, not Loki. But, okay. I don't know why they don't want to call her Enchantress, but, yeah. It was fine. I understand why they did it. Now the good news is episode 3, they can get on to more entertaining stuff now that they've, unpacked all of this episode and established everything. But, yeah, it was... it wasn't the destination. You had to move through this stuff to get on with the story.
Get the story going.
Yeah.
And Podman Ron, there's rumors going around, if you believe the internet, that maybe the Time Lords or whatever they're called, the Time Managers, they're long since dead. They're gone or somewhere or another. And this judge that seems a little bit on the iffy side. That maybe she's pulling the strings here, or she's one of them, or something like that.
Well, I mean, it was kind of obvious with her response to Loki. I mean, to Morpheus, or what the hell his name is. Yeah, when he asked about them, and she's like, "Oh, they're fine." They're, and it was like, okay, can we be any more telling with that? There's something up with that. I mean,
she could have she could have winked at the camera, maybe. If that would have been helpful.
I mean, or come on.
Or pulled her collar, like,
yeah, exactly.
Zoinks, I'm glad you asked.
But I also agree with Brian. I'm glad he said this because I thought maybe it was just me not paying much attention to the episode. But I found the episode kind of a little on the boring side. It was a lot of, it wasn't as fun as the first episode. And I guess, like he said, I guess they had to jump through these hoops to get us more into the story. But I just found it very boring. And I don't know. I don't know why the female Loki was blonde instead of black haired, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. She kept entrancing people. Like that's the Enchantress. Like
yeah,
well, I don't understand why we're not calling her the Enchantress, but yeah, Enchantress has blonde hair. Enchantress wears all green. Like why is this Loki not the Enchantress?
It made no sense. That made no sense, and There's another question I have is, she wants to destroy the timeline. She wants to, and I think that's what's going to happen because if you think about it, what's it called in here? The prime timeline, and every time there's a variant, they destroy it. They destroy that timeline because they don't want any variants, which is basically a divergence. So, if she destroys the main timeline, you're going to have a multiverse now. You're going to have all kinds of divergence. So I think this is going to lead why we're going to have the multiverse more, I believe. Just my theory. But also, if they destroy these variants, isn't Steve Rogers a variant? Because didn't he?
They're saying that was supposed to happen.
No. Endgame was supposed to happen, but Steve Rogers going back, was that supposed to happen? I mean, he's definitely becoming. He's changed the timeline. I mean, he's made a variant. He's made a divergence in it because,
Well, that's what that goes back to the whole Peggy Carter thing, because they said, he went back in time to marry Peggy and live his life with Peggy.
Right.
And then when you saw Peggy in Winter Soldier when she was dying, or was it Civil War? One of them. One of them.
One of the movies.
She had the picture on her nightstand.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but she had a picture on the nightstand, but the husband wasn't there. So she had kids, but the husband wasn't pictured. But the Russo said that he went back and lived with her in an alternate timeline.
Right. That's the Marvel way it happens in the Marvel comic books. Is it's when a character goes back in time, they change the timeline. They don't change the main time. They don't change the timeline they came from. They make a divergent timeline. So, they're not really changing their future. They're just creating another future. They're just creating another timeline. So,
and you can't once you go back, you can't return to your original timeline.
Right. You can't go back over. He has. I mean, he did. We don't know how he managed. Maybe Doctor Strange helped him out or something. But, I mean, but if I'm understanding this whole Loki business, the TVA keeps the prime timeline. They don't want any variants to happen. So what I'm describing, they go back and they wipe those variants out. They set those little time things and wipe those little lines out. So you keep a constant main stream, the main one. So without any of these diversions. So that's why I'm saying, I think maybe or Loki or whatever the hell it is going to be the one that destroys that. And that's why we're going to have all these, multi-universes.
Well, yeah, they call it multiverse of madness. So, it's all going to be left, in as a shit show.
Right. And maybe that's why Steve Rogers was able to do what he was doing, because time knows it's time. So it could have happened already, and that's why it's there.
The series started in 2012, right? They're outside of time.
They're outside of time.
In the linear timeline, it was 2012 the last time Loki
that's
was
a good
there.
point.
So
it's a really good point. I didn't think about that.
Did either of you think when all those bombs started dropping in, they were going to start showing up in the TVA?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was all going to start showing in the TVA and just destroying the TVA hub or whatever.
Right.
So I guess my question is, where did they go? They went to different times, right, in the timeline, but are they key events that they went to?
Right.
They have to be.
That's what it seems like, right?
Yeah, she's wiping out key events, I guess is what's going to happen. So hopefully episode 3 will explain all.
Explain it all.
Well, and I guess the question is, what key events are going to get wiped out? Is it things we've already seen, or things that have been alluded to, or entirely, untouched, ground, So.
And are we going to see Kang in here? There's people are all Mephistoing Kang, saying that he's one of the Time Lords and he's going to make an appearance here.
Well, that's the what PMR and you were saying earlier, right? I mean, if the time monitors are already dead,
right,
then who killed them? Well, Kang.
Yeah.
And if Kang killed them, he's the one running this judge.
And that's the speculation, because in the comic book, Kang had a girlfriend that he was in love with. I can't think of her name, but he was obsessed with this woman. So this could be her, So
well, and they kept alluding to there being another handler, but they wouldn't say who it was.
Right.
So that other handler could be Kang, And what's his real name? Like, it's Richards.
It's Nathaniel Richards.
Yeah.
The 12th or something.
It's a relative. Yeah. It's Reed Richards' dad. It's Rama Tut, Nathaniel Richards.
I forgot all about the Tut stuff. That's going to be hard to explain.
Yeah, it's because he went back. Nathaniel Richards went back in time, and I could be wrong on this. Became Rama Tut,
a pharaoh,
became a pharaoh,
Egypt. Yeah.
and then because he had he was able to go back in time and in those days and build the pyramids and stuff using science of the day, and everybody made him king because he looked like a wizard, because he was able to do all this future stuff. And then when he got bored with that, he went further into the future and became king.
Right. But that's my point is you could say this other handler was Nathaniel Richards, right? And he's got this secret thing going on with the judge, and either they've already killed the time monitors or they are going to kill the time monitors. But I think
they've already killed them, or
either way. But that could be the ascension. So they've teased heavily that there's another agent or handler other than Mobius. And so, that's where we're kind of getting into is that kind of stuff.
I will point out in this that Marvel or Disney or whoever the hell it is these days was really big into playing up the buddy cop thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they had, to me, no chemistry at all. But Owen Wilson and Loki, they got good chemistry, and actually they played the buddy cop thing pretty damn well.
All right, and we know you love a good buddy cop show.
I do love a good buddy cop movie.
Yeah, ain't nothing.
And Falcon and the Winter Soldier really disappointed in that regard. I thought they did a poor job with that. So,
which would you say is the Tango, and which one's the Cash?
Which one
and Loki?
Which on the Loki?
On the Loki.
Oh, Loki's. Which one? Loki is definitely Kurt Russell.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's like a wild card, and
he's the wild card. Of the two, he seems a little more uptight. Maybe he's the Cash.
No, because he's the one coming up with these crazy schemes, and Morpheus is looking at him like, can't do that.
Tango.
Just like Sylvester Stallone would do, Sylvester Stallone. Which one was Tango? Which one was Cash?
Cash was Stallone, and Tango was Kurt Russell.
Yeah. So there you go. So definitely and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're too boring. They couldn't even reach Tango and Cash level of buddy cop.
That's what I could go for, is a Tango and Cash reboot with Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell today.
I wish, you mean a sequel?
Yeah.
There's your that's what I'm saying. Like, not only reboot, I mean a sequel. There's your retirement home film.
No, don't give it away.
It's Tango and Cash.
But they should do a Tango and Cash. Like they could be in Florida. They could do the old Running Scared from Billy Crystal's movie back in the day, which was a good movie with the late great Gregory Hines. But you have, and you know what? Feel free to use this. You have Tango and Cash in a retirement home in Boca Raton, Florida, and then a murder happens. Boom. And you have action and adventure as these senior citizens are Tango and Cash in it,
Or what about somebody gets put in the witness protection program and all hell breaks loose, and now Mafia's coming to try and kill him, and Tango and Cash got to knock,
Oh, I love it. You know what? It could be a former drug boss that they busted before, or his brother, and he's in the same retirement home, and they're like, this guy looks familiar. And then they investigate it, and they find out who it is, but in the second and third act, you have the mob come, they find out, and then they kidnap Terry Hatcher all over again.
Wow.
There you go.
Boom. God. Hollywood, you can send me the royalties. Y'all can send me something. Give me 1% of it. 1% of $10 million it'll
I
make.
would argue, if you put Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell in a film together, they've got enough charisma to carry it.
Oh, absolutely.
So, even at this age, and make it believable. There you go.
It wouldn't be just unbelievable. It would be awesome. I mean, Tango and Cash today, fighting crime in a nursing home, the comedy itself, it just writes itself. I mean, come on.
We all know Sly Stallone is trying to retread all of his old projects, right? So,
yeah, I mean,
re-editing Rocky IV.
I'm watching the goddamn montage right now of them playing shuffleboard and arguing with older citizens, and what a montage that would be.
I would like to see, now that since we're talking fantasy movies.
Cash has the lawn that wins Lawn of the Month every month, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tango has
like a boat in the driveway that hadn't been able to sail. And
Tango keeps getting notices from the homeowners association, and Sylvain and Cash is on it. He's the one sending it to him. He's like, "Oh, Cash."
I would like to see a movie a little bit like Last Action Hero. So you could do this with Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever, where they pull Eddie Murphy and play their characters from multiple movies. Again, you got to figure out all the rights and studios and all that kind of crap. But yeah, have whichever one he was, Tango or Cash, team up with Cobra and go after Rambo, and they go see a boxing match and all, but have him playing all the different roles that he has played before.
And it's because he has dementia.
And it's all happening in his mind.
So like the third act, you're like, oh, this is great. And then the third act, when you drop that bomb on the audience.
Yeah. And
really play up for the Oscar win.
Yeah. A person like Podman Ron would go there for the action movies and then find out that, this is really a touching movie with a heart of gold.
I know, man. I swear to God, I think my testosterone in my old age has dropped. And maybe I'm getting estrogen or something, because I'm like tearing up at these damn movies all of a sudden.
Yeah, in the heights of tearjerker.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. Hey, it is. There's some really good scenes in there.
All right, I'm not fighting you. Sorry.
I'm saying. It's like,
all right.
Anyway.
All right. What we got? We got a couple of anything else with Loki. We hope it will get better, but we still love it. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
It's still better than Winter Soldier and Falcon. I mean, still much better than that turd.
All right. Speaking of turds. Podman Ryan, what kind of retro review you got? I guess King Arthur got you excited to watch some action movies from the UK, I guess. I'm not really sure what got you into layer cake.
Well, my son got me into layer cake. I went and visited him past weekend in Nashville, and he recommended us watch layer cake. He had heard it was good, and I had heard it. It was when Daniel Craig was cast as 007. The only movie I ever heard that he was in was Layer Cake. They were like, Layer Cake. So I'm like, it must be pretty goddamn good. And I was wrong. It was absolutely boring. And, I mean, all they did was they'd go from one group to talk to him to another group to talk to him. And all the groups, everybody looked the same. It was like, who are they talking to now? I mean, it was very boring. I fell asleep during it. I'll be honest with you. I got halfway through it and fell asleep because all they did was just talk and go talk to more gangsters and then meet up with another set of gangsters and talk to them.
How did Alex enjoy it?
That's why they called it layer cake. He hated it too.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you're both some disappointed podmen there.
Yeah. I was very disappointed because I thought, this is, it's going to be great. I mean, it had Cole Meany in it, too. I mean, come on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah.
Cole Meany had second billing on this, so...
Yeah, you were expecting good stuff.
I forgot there was a little window there in the early 2000 that Cole Beatty was actually had some starring roles and stuff after Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So, yeah, I was very disappointed in this. I would give this definitely a 1. I could be wrong, but
it sucked. I could be wrong, but I thought it sucked.
15, 17 years ago when it came out, and not hating it. I don't remember much about it. I mean, it's Guy Ritchie also, isn't it?
That's what I was trying to think. Yeah, I was too lazy to look it up though.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it actually is Guy Ritchie. I think because that was another way Alex sold me on it, because I was like, oh, Guy Ritchie, okay, cool. And but yeah, it was very disappointing, and I didn't want to. I went in it, looking forward to it. So maybe I went in it too excited about it.
Yeah, you were expecting it to be the best of the best, and it was not.
Good lead, Brad.
It was not. It's not Guy Ritchie. It's Matthew Vaughn.
Oh, that's right.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. He got me in it because he kept saying it was Matthew Vaughn. I was like, oh, first class, awesome.
So yeah,
all
Matthew Vaughn, who did Stardust, right? X-Men First Class.
Yeah,
and Kick-Ass.
Did he do Kingsman also?
And Kingsman, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's what he got me in on it. And I was like, I was looking forward to it, but not so much. It was a little bit of disappointment.
All right, disappointing layer cake. Not a very good. Left a bad taste in your mouth. The layer cake.
I'll tell you, looking at this IMDb, there is a ton of actors in this. Obviously, Daniel Craig, right? Sienna Miller, Michael Gabon, Dumbledore is in it.
Yep.
Tom Hardy, who's Bane, and numerous other things. Vern Gorman, who's like the creepy looking guy. He's in everything now, but he's the creepy looking guy from Pacific Rim. He was actually the good guy. He was creepy looking, so everybody thought he'd be the bad guy. Yeah, and then Cole Meany. And there's some up and comers in this film.
Did not like it. Did not care for it. Did not hold my interest whatsoever. I felt like I needed a guide just to figure out who all these fucking people were. It's like,
listen to Brian. All right, Brian, what have you got? You stuck with action movies as well, it looks like.
I did stick with action movies. And I was kind of shocked when I saw this in Netflix, because it's one of those forgotten 80s classics. I remember this film was on HBO nonstop for 1988 to 1991. Like, you could turn on HBO and once a week this film was showing. Starring James Earl Jones.
Oh.
Sally Kirkland. PMR, you want to take a guess as to what the film is?
Sally Kirkman and James Earl Jones?
Sally Kirkland, James Earl Jones. It's an action film. Chris Penn.
Ugh.
And Eric Roberts.
Oh, God.
The Coca-Cola Kid.
I have no idea.
The best of the best.
Oh, well, hell, I knew that because it says best of the best in our notes.
Oh,
and he still couldn't guess it.
You still couldn't get it right.
I don't know what the hell best of the best is. I've never heard of it.
You've seen best of the best.
Oh, yeah, it's you know what? If Gangi loved season 3 of Cobra Kai, she'd probably love best of the best.
What the hell's best of the best?
Oh my God! So it is the magical film in the late '80s that was able to basically steal the premise of Top Gun, Karate Kid, and Rocky IV and fuse them into one mega movie.
So you've got the USA Taekwondo, not karate, the USA Taekwondo team, which are going to fight the North Korean Taekwondo team at the World Games.
What year is this movie?
88, I think.
Okay.
The film starts out with Eric Roberts, who plays Alex, working at, and so you had Rocky working in a meat factory, right? Eric Roberts, you don't get more American than this. He's working in a Chevrolet factory building Camaro IROC Z28s. In late age, you don't get more American than an IROC Z28.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I love IROC.
And so they all go. He's had his shoulder torn up. He's been retired for 3 years. He comes out of retirement to try and join the U.S. Taekwondo team. And Chris Penn, the main, what's his name? He was in other stuff in the 80s. The main guy's named Tommy. Well, Eric Roberts is the main guy, but the main, like, partner in crime is his name's Tommy. He owns a karate studio or a Taekwondo studio. You got a couple of others, but there's a 5-man team coached by James Earl Jones in Taekwondo. I don't know why James Earl Jones knows Taekwondo, but he does. And they bring in a specialist who's a Buddhist to help them center their chi, essentially, and it's Sally Kirkland, right? So you've gone from Rocky to Top Gun. You know, they're training to go fight North Korean Taekwondo students, and they even bring in the Kelly McGillis character to help them train. Lots of motorcycle scenes, just like Top Gun. The end of the film, it all climaxes like Rocky. It's like the perfect fusion of all these films. You find out the big bad guy on the Korean karate team killed Tommy's brother in an exhibition match.
Whoa!
Just like Drago and Creed. I mean, it's literally, they ripped. It's like they took all these other scripts and just like tore out pages and then pasted them together into another film. That being said, it's a tour de force. It is a tour de force of 80s films. It's if you hadn't seen any of those and you wanted to get a vibe for all of those other films, watch Best of the Best.
I'll have to watch that.
I think you and Genki would enjoy it.
Movie. I will have to watch it because I've never even heard of this movie.
I can't believe you've never heard of Best of the Best.
I have not. Not at all. You sure this is not from a Mandalorian
it could
universe?
Be. Yeah. It could be a Mandalorian effect.
A Mandalorian effect.
Mandalorian effect.
For what you remember of that, well, first, how many times do you think you've seen Best of the Best? At least parts or the whole movie?
Maybe a couple of times. Back in, like, the late 80s when it was on cable or whatever. I remember Eric Roberts. I don't remember James Earl Jones in it, but okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, there's a scene in this where James Earl Jones, like, one of his rules is never be late for practice. Never be late. Like, he establishes that. Like, I don't know why it's disrespectful to your team. It's disrespectful to me, And Eric Roberts finds out he has a son and his wife has passed away. And his son is 5. Eric Roberts gets the call that his son has been hit by a car. Ooh. And James Earl Jones is like, why the hell are you late? He's like, but coach, my son was hit by a car. You're off the team. Like, he cuts him from the team because he wants to go visit his son who was run over by a car in the hospital. So
he's tough. He's a tough teacher. Sensei. Yes, Sensei.
Yeah. So check it out. it's surreal. This film is surreal. So,
all right.
What's wild is I remember it being fantastic when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Clearly, I recognize it is not a fantastic film, but at the same time, it is the uniqueness of it is incredible.
Your testosterone has dropped since you were a young teen in the 80s. This is the greatest movie ever.
But yeah, you know what it makes me want to go watch next, Brad?
Jim Cotta?
Oh, you nailed it. You freaking nailed it.
Well, that was the only one that I could think of, but it's totally, all that stuff is the same, right?
Yeah. That's what I want to go watch next. It's Jim Cotta.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, Podman Ron, I think you definitely need to go check out The Best of the Best on Netflix. And
I will have to check that out. Absolutely.
And we'll pass on Layer of Cake, I guess.
I would pass on Layer Cake, but it's up to you. If you want to see James Bond with little skinny arms and before he got all built up, and watch this movie. But
all right, very good. I haven't really watched anything. Brian, did you? I don't know if the notes say Sweet Tooth. Are you still looking at Sweet Tooth? Do we want to talk about it real quick?
Yeah, I've watched a couple more episodes. I mean, it's on par. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's
non-offensive.
Yeah, it's not offensive. It's fine. It's gonna skew younger, than the comic does.
All right.
At the same time, I still don't see us getting to season 2. What's interesting, the episode I'm up to now, I think I'm up to 4, is what they do when someone gets the sickness, because they're at a party and there hasn't been an outbreak in a while, and this guy, the telltale sign is their pinky starts shaking like they've got a tremor, and so this starts happening to this guy at the party, and they break out the emergency kit. The emergency kit is a roll of saran wrap. And they start saran wrapping him to his chair where he's sitting. And then the next thing is they're standing outside while they set the house on fire. So that's the emergency kit, is they burn the person alive.
Good Lord. God.
So show him, but yeah, they alluded to the fact that he's being burned alive inside his home. So the sickness is no joke, man. So what I think you're going to find out is that the reason why you have these hybrids and the reason why you have this sickness is the hybrids obviously are the cure to the sickness, but the sickness is probably like their DNA is unspooling, something like that. And so the hybrids are the cure because it's using other animals' DNA to fill in the holes. So kind of like dino DNA, from the first Jurassic Park. They used frog DNA to fill in it's like nature's doing it itself. And so it's leaching onto other DNA to fill in the genetic defects in the human DNA. So.
All right. Eventually I may check it out. I may or may not. I'm plowing through all of Curb Your Enthusiasm again right now. I'm on the last season, and it's it's a little rough. I mean, there's Leon. Leon, I think, saves the episodes that he makes an appearance in. I
kind of wish he would just give up on Curb. It's like,
I know.
It's like the last couple of seasons, the last 2 he's done, they weren't funny. I mean, and it's almost embarrassing. It's like you remember this great show and how funny he was, and now it's like a cartoon character. He's like
it's
so
a caricature
campy and
of himself.
stupid. Yeah, it really is. It's got so bad. So,
Brad, I have some more breaking sad news.
Uh-oh.
Mechaleka High, Mechalini Ho.
What is Paul Pee Wee Herman?
No,
Oh.
John B. the Genie from Pee-wee's Playhouse has died.
Wow. This is hard hitting.
Mechalekahai, Mekahini Ho.
Did not. I never watched Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, he had a genie that was in every episode, and so he'd open the little genie, and it was a floating head, and they'd say, Pee-wee'd wish for something, they'd say, Mechalekahai, Mekahini Ho, and he'd grant the wish. A genie from Pee-wee's Playhouse, everyone. I hate to be the one to break this news. Has passed.
That's a hell of a way to end a podcast, that's for sure.
Who says we're ending it?
I am.
We're not going to talk about Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford going ballistic on some reporters because they took his picture.
That was in the news section. We should have talked about that in the news section.
Sorry.
You're going to confuse. We're going backwards now.
We're just going back around.
We're going back around. We went to In Memoriam.
So
now we're back to the news.
We're going to have to do another news segment at the end because we've gone so long.
We have more news to report on.
More news. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the old, we have one good episode and then, 2, hopefully not 3 bad.
Yeah. Next week should be much better. I think Alex really helps us out. We need Alex
what do we got
back.
next week coming out? What's coming out next week?
Nothing.
Oh, no. Fast and Furious, man.
The 25th. When's our podcast? Or what day is the 25th?
Oh, you're right. God damn it. That's Friday.
Yeah, I really think nothing. We got a whole lot of nothing between now and then. So
we got Loki, and maybe there'll be some, maybe less than will pass next week.
Maybe the
we
shock.
Can only hope.
Yeah, the shock of his good friend dying.
You're the one that teed it up. Yeah, maybe we need to do some other segments. Maybe we should bring back do a master class in poor filmmaking.
Yeah, find us a good one. I mean, you almost did one of best of the best, but maybe you can do a Jim Cotta.
Maybe I could do Jim Cotta.
There you go.
I'll give you guys a choice. I've got a few here listed, man, and I'm really throwing myself on the pike for these. But Howard the Duck, Super Mario Bros. Maybe I should do that since they released the extended cut.
Yeah.
I've got Battlefield Earth.
Well, let me make another. Well, you can do that too. But we talked about doing a 6-month Deadpool list, so we should bring back we're heading into the second half of 2021.
Yeah.
With July 1st coming around, so we could do a 6-month Deadpool list.
And maybe the wild card of the pandemic has died down some, so
we could do
apply
that.
a little more reason to life expectancy.
Exactly. So we could come up with like we used to, our 10 main ones and then 2
like the good old days.
Just like the good old days.
All right, we'll take Frank Boner off, that's for sure.
Oh, man. I got to brush up on my old sitcoms. See who's swirling the bowl there.
I'm just going to go with everybody that's left on WKRP and be done with it.
Oh, come on. You're going to name the whole cast?
Yep, I'm going to name the whole cast, and that should be about almost 10 people, I think. Well, all right. So
where's Sandy Frank at? He never did anything after WKRP.
No, he peaked out early.
He did peak out early.
Andy,
He
right?
burned too. Yeah, Andy. He burned too bright. It was that wingback hair that he had. Man, he had some good hair. He had some good 70s hair, man.
His wings got too close to the sun, and like Icarus, he just fell. Well,
oh, man.
All right. Well, Brian, would you be up for a Deadpool?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I want to see some George Wendt, I think, has got to be up there towards
oh, man.
some lists.
Yeah.
What if you did a George Wendt, John Ratzenberg combo?
Oh, you should automatically win if you get both of those.
Yeah.
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
It's Deathpool Yahtzee.
We should have a couples. Well, everybody has a couples.
A couples.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Couples.
if you're a couple, it automatically wins.
Yeah, see, you won it. You win the death pool. It immediately stops right there. You win it. No matter who else dies. Can't get the points. It's the equivalent of grabbing the golden snatch.
What?
Golden snatch.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, that's a saying. Grab the golden snatch.
I'm sorry. The golden snitch. That's what I meant.
I think
grabbing that.
I think grab the golden ring is another saying. But yes,
That's the brass ring.
The brass ring. The brass ring.
But the golden snitch is from Harry Potter. Once you grab it, it automatically wins the game. So.
Well, we can call it the golden snatch.
Yeah, Betty White's golden girl snatch. Grab it, and you win. All right. Well, that's the perfect way to end the podcast, I think. So, Brian, until next time.
Save it for the podcast.